Hi, good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Letty, and I have a couple of readings for us this morning. The first one is by Philip Larkin, and it's called The Trees. The trees are coming into leaf, like something almost being said. The recent buds relax and spread. Their greenness is a kind of grief. Is it that they are born again and we grow old? No, they die too. Their yearly trick of looking new is written down in rings of grain. Yet still the unresting castles thresh in full-grown thickness every May. Last year is dead, they seem to say. Begin afresh, afresh, afresh. My second reading is by Kyoko Kan, and it says, "To understand the present is to be reborn here, free from all past lives and beliefs, free to explore the unknown and guide through love our own complicated souls, souls that only seek a kindred understanding in simplicity for everlasting peace."
Like I said, I teach from A Course in Miracles. And A Course in Miracles has a whole section called, it's chapter 20, and it's all about Easter. And it says there's no fear in love. It says, "The song of Easter is a glad refrain. The Son of God was never crucified. Let us lift our eyes together and not in fear, but in faith." So it's saying there's no fear in love, and that nothing real has ever been threatened and nothing real has ever died. And so let's look up, let's look up and look out, because there's a bolder, brighter tomorrow that's happening for each of us. It goes on to say that if we do this, this is the way to heaven and the peace of Easter, in which we join in glad awareness that the Son of God has risen from the past and has awakened to the present. That's just a beautiful thing, that we've arisen from the past. What does that mean? That means we have to let go of the whole past and move into forgiveness and awaken to the blessings of the present moment. Today's lesson, if you do the lessons, was 290. It says, "My present happiness is all I see." Is that true? So then it goes on to say, "Walk with him now, rejoicing, for the Savior of the illusion has come to greet you and walk you home in love." So to awaken to the fact that, that there's become this new birth that has seen you, has greeted you, and that's ready to walk you home in love. And each of us are ready to come to that moment and say, you know what, I'm actually ready to go home in love. I'm actually ready to be in love with all that is. And it says, as we walk with each other home in love, that we're all teachers of love. So we're each saviors. We're each the light unto the world. And each of us are walking each other home. Isn't that a beautiful thing to contemplate? That we're just here on the path to walk each other home. And sometimes you'll be on the path and you're like, hey, I'm totally lost. Anybody know the way? I find myself there. And somebody else will say, hey, we're here, keep walking, keep walking. And so that's the nice thing. And that's when you feel most purposeful, is when you're actually escorting someone to their higher and greater yet to be. As a practitioner, as a minister, we do that. A lot of healers and teachers here. But even if you haven't donned that title yet, you're created for that. That's what you're here to be. As A Course in Miracles says, we're all teachers of love. So you're the light of the world. That kind of makes some of us shrink back and go, that's a lot of responsibility to be the light of the world, But we each are preordained for it. And we've had so many teachers come to tell us this. We've had Mother Teresa and I was going to say Martha Stewart. Yeah, not Martha Stewart. Really? Well, kind of. Why not? Yeah, she had a holy ministry, didn't she? Mother Teresa, Marianne Williamson, Martin Luther King, Oscar Schindler, amazing ministry, Ram Dass, David Hawkins, Eckhart Tolle, Byron Katie, Wayne Dyer, Dalai Lama, Paramahansa Yogananda, Muhammad, Elijah, Buddha. So many. Did I forget any? Jesus, thank God. Thank you, A+. We should remember Jesus. Yes, Jesus was a master teacher of love. He was a master, he is a master teacher of love, right? And he was one of those audacious teachers that said, hey, yeah, I am all that. And this and greater things shall you do. This and greater things shall you do. And we were like, wow, we don't trust that. Let's kill him. Funny kids. So we're the light of the world. And this news makes us shrink back, you know. But Marianne Williamson gives us this great poem. She says, you know, your deepest fear is not that you're inadequate. Your deepest fear is that you are powerful beyond measure, right? And it's our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be this brilliant and this gorgeous and this fabulous and this talented? Well, who are we not to be? Our playing it small serves no one. Our playing it small does not serve the world. And there's nothing enlightened about shrinking so that others can feel comfortable. You know, you were each of us born to shine, you know, as children do. We're born to make manifest the glory of God. And it's not just in some of us, it's in all of us. And as we shine our light, we unconsciously give other people the permission to do the same. I don't know if there's another way to say we're resurrecting each other. It's such a beautiful way to say we are in the business of resurrection. You know, not by trying to fix people out there, but by knowing who we really are, audacious lights of God, and just walking in it. We talked about it last week when we talked about being majestic. You know, walking in your own majestic nature. If you do that, you need do very little else. And that's why God is so effortless. So Jesus was up in heaven, you know, and they look down on the earth and they see the earth and they're like, you know, we are sort of a big joke a bit. They're like, the angels and Jesus are up there and they're like, these crazy people down there, what are they doing, you know? They need some light. They need to wake up. And so God gives Jesus the noble nod. He's like, I need someone to go bring some light down to earth. And all the other angels are like, thank God. I got out of that one, you know? And Jesus, you know, he's like all ready to go. He's got the plan. And so all these beautiful angels and saints and way showers all around him, grateful that they don't have to do the mission of coming to earth and bring light for now. And they're like, Jesus, what are you going to do? And he's like, well, I got a great plan, you know. I'm going to bring light to the world and I'm going to wake some people up, you know. And the angels, they're going to start laughing, you know. They're like, good luck. You know, first of all, those people on earth, you know, they're asleep and they don't like themselves and they don't like each other. And they think they're separate from God. And the more they talk about us, the more they're laughing. They think they're separate from God. And they live in these limited bodies. And they love their bodies, and then they hate their bodies. And then they love their bodies, and then they hate their bodies. And then they love someone else's body, and then they hate their body. And then they love someone else's body, and they're very fickle. They're very fickle down there. And they believe in scarcity. And Jesus is like, really? They're like, yes. How archaic is that? And those angels are just laughing up a storm. They believe in scarcity, yeah. And they've forgotten how to play. They've forgotten how to play it big. You know, they've taken everything so seriously. And Jesus was like, well, I guess I do have my work cut out for me. But I have complete trust. I have complete trust in them. So Jesus says, okay, well, the angels say to him, Jesus says, I have a plan. I have this plan I've been working on for a little while. I think it's going to work. And the angels say, good, you're going to need a plan. Might we suggest to you, because they're very helpful to him, might we suggest that you get birthed into maybe a kingdom as a king? The folks down on earth, they love their power, they love their money. It would go over very well if you were a king. And Jesus was like, I was thinking manger. And they were like, manger, what? Oh, Jesus. No. He's like, but you know, I love the animals and the little drummer boys and the shepherds. And they're like, Jesus, come on, wake up. Kings, special, fancy. Shepherds, dime a dozen, okay? Dime a dozen, number one. They're not going to help you move anything down there. And number two, drummer boys, notoriously bad news. Notoriously. And Jesus is like, well, you know, my goal is to make everyone feel like a king. And they're like, oh, Jesus, you're good. You're good. That's a good plan. Make everyone feel like a king. That's gonna leave a good impression on them, actually. Good job. That is a good plan. So they said, well, making everyone feel like a king, that's one thing, but I hope you have some more tricks in your bag. And he said, yeah. Yeah, I do. I think I'm going to demonstrate a few miracles. And they're like, okay, good thought. What kind of miracles? He goes, well, the whole separation from God. Let's just annihilate that. I am going to maybe go to a party or a wedding, and I'll have them run out of wine, and then I'll take some water and I'll show them that if I bless the water and turn it all over to God, that God will fulfill all of our needs exactly as we need them. And they were like, oh, A+. A+. They were like cheering and jumping up and down. They're like, you have no idea. They love their wine more than they love power and money. You are going to influence people and win friends with that one. You're going to be invited to every party with that trick. And he's like, well, that's what I'm hoping. So they're like, but you might need a few more little, nudges for them. He goes, well, I was thinking maybe I would eradicate the whole scarcity thing with loaves and fishes. Maybe I'd get them all to be really hungry, and then I'd show them through generosity how when you focus on the good that you have, even if it's a little good, if you bless it and if you pray on it, that what you focus on increases. And I'm going to show them this miracle. And they're like, oh, Jesus, you are on course. This is beautiful. They love their bread. They literally have practically altars to their bread. And he's like, okay, good. This is going good. So they keep going along, and Jesus is telling them his plans, and they're giving their stamp of approval. And so they said, Jesus, what else do you have? And he goes, I'm going to address the whole body shaming thing. We really need to eradicate that. And they're like, good luck, because they have really grabbed onto that one. It's going to be very hard to awaken them with the whole body shaming thing. And they're like, how do you plan to do that? He's like, well, I'm going to get myself a cute little adulteress. And I'm going to put her out there, and I'm going to say, hey, if anybody hasn't sinned or anybody hasn't harloted or adulted, go ahead and toss a stone at her. And the angels are like, whoa, that's kind of risky. I don't know if you should go with that one. And he's like, why? He goes, what if someone throws a stone at her? And Jesus is like, I have so much faith in them. They're beautiful, good people. They're asleep, but they're not madmen. And the angels are like, okay, well, we're going to pray for you. Not to play devil's advocate, but, they really wanted to make sure that he was on, course with a possibility of success. So Jesus said, I'm going to do a few other things. And he began to tell the angels about how he was going to walk on water and how he was going to help people, heal their sicknesses. And he went on and on and on and on. And they were really excited to hear what a beautiful plan Jesus had that was going to extend love into the world and raise people's vibration about what is actually possible for them and eradicate this old scarcity and shame and blame that really never got anyone anywhere anyway. And so he says, now, for the finale, I'm going to have them murder me. And they're like, what? Oh my gosh, Jesus, I don't know if that's a good plan. You've made them feel so good. You've shared some wine and some bread. You told them it's okay to harlot. It's okay to be kings. And he's like, no, I'm gonna go with a nice murder. They're like, what do you mean? Like a knife fight in the back of a hallway or something? He's like, no, it's gonna be very public. It's gonna be a very public thing. I want lots of people to witness it. I'm going to, hold up a big flag or something so they can see me. And someone in the back of the room said, how about a crucifixion? They love the crucifixions down there. And he's like, okay, yeah, thank you for your help. Thank you, teamwork. I love that. I'm going to go with a crucifixion. Very good, very good. I'm going to walk for a really long way. They'll be spitting and cursing and blood, and I'm going to let them murder me. And they're like, I don't get it. It's a weird ending, And he's like, well, that's the thing. That's not going to be the ending. It's going to be a false ending. In a few days, I'm going to rise and say, hey, nothing ever happened because I'm real and you cannot threaten what is real. And you're real. And no matter what you do on this crazy blue marble, none of this crazy making is going to have any impact on God. And you're going to rise from this. Your truest, most brilliant, most brightest self is going to rise up from this. And the angels were so happy to hear about this beautiful plan. They're like, that is surely to waken up them. They will surely. Many teachers have come before you, but I think you will be the last, Jesus. They said, but we know you have a lot of faith in these people, but we think you should have a plan B. And he's like, what? like, yeah, we think you should have a plan B. And he said, it's funny you should mention that, because I actually do have a plan B. And they're like, well, what is it? And Jesus said, well, it includes you, my beautiful friends, my beautiful posse of angels. It actually includes you. And we all looked at him and we said, what, us? What? We're not involved in this, because Jesus, he always went the extra mile. He always loved way too more than we were comfortable with. And it was like, I'm hoping that if per se my magnificent plan doesn't work, I'm not saying it won't work because that would be crazy, but if per se they still don't wake up, would you come to earth and shed some light for me? And what'd you say? What did you say?
Maybe. What's in it for me?
And then you came.
Yep.
And he said, would you come and shed some light for me?
Sure.
Would you come and shed some light?
Yes.
Would you come and shed some light?
Okay.
And we went, but we were reluctant, weren't we? We're like, we don't know if we're the guys for the job. We're hoping that it works with you, Jesus. We hope it ends with you. But it didn't, because we're still here. And so we came. But he said, don't worry, because plan B is very special. There is very simple things you're going to remember with plan B. And the number one thing is B, 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 B. We're like, we get it. What's the B? Be still and know God. If ever you get hung up and strung out down here, if you ever get in a tough corner, just be still and know God. That's all you got to do. And they're like, okay, all right, we got that. We can do that. We can remember that. He goes, well, you might not remember it because it's very easy to fall asleep down there and forget who you are and forget that you're spiritual beings having a physical experience. You might fall asleep. So remember to be still and know God when you need to. And then be kind. Be kind to the drummer. Be kind to the harlot. Be kind to the king equally. We're like, yeah, we got that. We got that. Be generous. Share all your loaves and fishes. Share with everyone everything you have. We're like, yeah, we got that. And he said, be compassionate. And we're like, yes. And he said, be bold and be visible and be vital. And then he said, because he loved this about us the most, he's like, whatever you do, don't forget to laugh. And we said, of course we won't, Jesus, of course we won't. And he placed a special blessing on us. And we came here today to continue to do that, because we made a promise that we would love each other. We said we would love each other. And so we came here and we did. And that's the word. Hey, thanks for watching. If you want more tips and tools on how to be a spiritual vixen, go on over to my website, MaureenMuldoon.com, and you can sign up for my love notes. Until then, I'm Maureen Muldoon, the spiritual vixen, reminding you to love more, fear less, and don't forget to laugh.